Jeffro from Two Hacks Garage. Well, I'm with John. We're in his Jeep again, and we're headed on a road trip. Where? Well, we're going to Indianapolis. I'm not going to say what we're picking up. It's not a car. It has nothing to do with any of the projects that I'm currently working on. Maybe. But this is the first of 2 road trips that we're going to take because I've got some really cool stuff coming up that's old school, that's going to make power, and maybe the other one's not going to make as much power, but there's a reason why I'm saying that. So yeah, this is a road trip. We got to go pick up some really neat stuff. I've been doing a lot of research behind the scenes on coming up with new projects, coming up with new ways to reinvent the old school for all those younger guys out there. Like John, he's younger. And my son's younger. So, but yeah, this is just a road trip video. Gonna go pick up some really neat stuff. When we get home, we'll unpack it. I'll show you what it is. And I'll show you why I'm building it. And I'll show you what I already have for it. It's gonna be cool. I know that's rambling and it makes no sense. But once we get it and we get it back home, it'll make a whole lot of sense. With that, we're gonna listen to some tunes and we're gonna hit the road. It's a nice day. We've got about 2 hours to kill. See you soon. Well, that was a whirlwind of a road trip. John and I drove about 2.5 hours over by Indy, actually by Indianapolis Raceway Park. It's Lucas Oil Park now, but for all the old school hot rod guys, it's IRP. Got home, my best friend, Mr. Rebel. Well, he greets me at the door as usual, and he's probably wondering what I got, and you guys are probably wondering what I got. Well, I got a 283 small block Chevy. It's an early 60s model. I still need to run the numbers on it, but that's the first of 2 283s that I'm going to get. I'm going to be building one that's hot diggity dog, hot rod powerful, and it's going to be pretty cool, guys. I already got a bunch of those parts in there. We're going to show them to you in a little bit. And the other one I'm going to do is it's actually going to be a budget-oriented backyard build. It's going to be pretty neat. As you guys see in a lot of the videos that I do, especially with Jimmy, a lot of machining, a lot of specialty parts, and that costs money. But what we're going to do is we're going to take one of the 283s after we build the hot diggity dog, hot rod powerful, small little high compression ripper of a 283. We're going to do a backyard 283 build out there for, budget purposes to show that you can do it. But you know what, guys? My best friend, he met me at the door. I'm going to hang out with him for a little bit. And after that, tell you what, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what parts that I got, what I still need to come in, and what we're working with. With that, guys, we'll see you in a few. All right, so here's what I'm working with here. Like I said, I still need to pull the numbers off this, but it's a 283. I want to say it's 61 or 62. Got to look at some numbers on it, but it is a standard bore block. It's got a little bit of ridge, but I actually have a set of pistons that are required this thing to be bored, so I'm not really worried about that. There's no cracks in it, nothing major that I need to look out for. I've got 2 cranks here that came with it. One of them's the steel and one of them's cast. Obviously, I'm not going to use cast. Mind you, I also got about 3 or 4 more of these at Jimmy's that are steel. So we'll have our pick of the litter to choose from. Here's kind of neat. It's got the original pistons and rods, brand new lifters, which I'm not going to use because I have a completely different cam, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, here's actually a brand new cam. All the nuts, factory bolts, nuts, you name it, it's all in there. It's all cleaned up. I got a really good deal on all this, guys. Factory oil pan. I do have a new one coming. Oil pump, the harmonic balancer, and these are the small chamber power pack heads. I know a lot of people say, oh, you can't make power from them with the small valves, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I'm going to use them, going to modify them. I got a lot of neat stuff for this, which I'll show you. But yeah, you know what? I am pretty happy about what I got. I got a really good deal on it. The guy that actually I got this from, his dad actually drag raced super stock in a lot of classes in the 60s and 70s at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and he was specialized in 265s, 283s, and 302s. So it was a nice conversation with him. Lots of cool pictures of his cars and stuff like this. I'll probably throw in a couple of those at the end of the video to show you what he had, just a couple of them. But yeah, so this is what I'm working with at first. This one's going to be the Hot Diggity Dog Hot Rod 283. Actually, it's going to be 292 cubic inches when done. But this is what I ended up picking up over there. Got a really awesome bargain on it. I do dig these power pack heads and the fact that I got a really good block. So you know what we need to do, guys? We need to go look at the parts that I've already accumulated, and I got a whole lot more on the way. See you in a few. All right, so here's the parts that I'm working with so far right now. I still have a whole lot more coming. First off, guys, a lot of these parts I did source from Holley.com, whether it be their Holley brand parts, Mr. Gasket, those types of stuff. What's kind of neat, though, didn't even know it existed, but check that out. Earl's actually makes racing head bolts, and I never even knew that, and as I was searching on Holley, came across those, so I bought them. They got a lot of great deals going on right now, so I couldn't resist. But yeah, so first off, you notice these. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, those are the Schoenfeld Zoomy headers. They're for a small block Chevy. I found these online, kind of a scratch and dent. There's no dents, a lot of scratches. I'm going to repaint them anyway. So what else are we working with here? Well, obviously a Mr. Gas oil pan. There's a Holley air breather in there, some Holley chrome valve covers, a lot of that dress-up stuff, a lot of miscellaneous engine parts from Mr. Gasket, which is pretty neat. You name it. Melling's oil pump, some Felpro gaskets, Mylodon pan gaskets in there. There's a whole bunch of different stuff for cylinders, heads in there, different freeze plug kits. One's Pioneer, one's Mylodons, ARP bolts, and all that. I do have a new old stock Elgin Untov 3030 cam, which was a hot cam back in the day that I am going to use in this. And after doing a lot of research, I realized I do need to do some head work on this, which I do plan on doing. But a lot of the old school guys, they recommended, it's kind of a kit that Elgin offers. It is a stainless steel valve, which I got, and it's called like Off-Road Z28 springs. It's the right spring pressure from that cam. And right now I've been working on sourcing the correct oil through solid lifters. I think I have a set somewhere that are new old stock. I just can't find them. I got to go to Jimmy's and dig through it. I do got kind of a stamp style full roller rocker on this here, which is kind of neat. It's a 1.5 ratio, so I will keep my cam profile the same. And I can see the springs, retainers, all this fun jazz. So I've got already a really good start. In that box here, you can see I do have a set of Eagle rods. They're forged that are for this. But if you want to see what kind of pistons I'm using, this is kind of the neat part. 283s can kind of be hard to find stuff for, but I ended up coming across a set of these. And if I can get this box open. So these are a Keith Black piston. I will be doing this one 60 over. Let me check this out. Dome pistons, high compression. Pretty neat, hypertectic. Nothing wrong with that. This motor will probably see 6,500 RPM. The cylinder heads, I want to say, are 58 or 60 cc. Now everything's going to be milled. So it's going to be some compression in this engine. I'm kind of pre-calculating 11.5 or 12 to 1 at this point. So it's probably going to see 100 octane leaded race fuel when it goes on the engine stand and fired up for the first time. So yeah, right now these are the parts that I'm working with. Guys, the reason I went with these is it's going to be ran on an engine stand, and I really like the sound of a really rowdy small block. I think these will work pretty well. I know a lot of people say scavenge, scavenge, scavenge. Yeah, you're right. This motor will get tuned, put on a dyno one day. But for now, I want it loud. I want it rowdy because I want my pup Rebel to be proud of that because it's going to be a hot diggity dog, hot rod 283. With that, guys, I do have some more parts to show you. Just got to go dig them out. I will see you in a few. All right, well, let's talk camshaft. But real quick, guys, I'm going to do kind of a part 2 video because I have a ton of parts. I mean, a ton of parts, really cool parts that are going to be arriving this week. That's going to take a little bit of time to cover. And I really, really, really want to show off some of those parts that I got. One of them is pretty rare, and I really want to make sure that I show that to you in a little bit of detail. But real quick, guys, let's talk cams. So if you saw, I did use Elgin for valve springs. I did use Elgin for valves and stuff like that. Well, I happen to have this laying around at Jimmy's. I went and got it, and it's an old Elgin Pro Stock cam. This happens to be their E901P Pro Stock cam. And what that is, guys, is that is the 327 horse or the 360 horse 327 cam they used. And this is also the same cam they used in the DZ302s. Yeah, there's a whole lot better cams out there and different newer grinds. But I do kind of want to stick old school to this build. And, you know, happens to be, I already had one of these cams laying around. I think it'll work very well in the combination that I'm going to build. In fact, what I'm going to do is here in a second, I'll throw in up in this way or in the middle somewhere, I'll throw in the cam specs to that. But it is a pretty rowdy little cam. It's going to work pretty good with this 283. It's a 45 lift cam. I am using the stock ratio rockers, so it's not going to change much on that. But yeah, so that's the cam. I do have a set of the correct new old stock oil through solid lifters for this. So this is a mechanical flat tappet cam. It's going to sound pretty neat. Yeah, so that's the camshaft for this. Like I said, there's going to be a part 2 because I have a lot of really cool parts coming with this. So yeah, it's going to be pretty rowdy. It's going to sound choppy. It's going to sound thumpy. I can't wait, guys. All right, so that's a start of a new project, or projects if you want to call it. We're going to build that hot diggity dog hot rod 283. Actually, it's going to be 292 cubic inches. And when I get the other engine and parts in for the other 283, we're going to build a stock-ish mild budget rebuild, backyard if you want to call it. But yeah, guys, those are the parts that I'm working with. I still have some to get in that I've got on order. I'll pretty much have everything here for the hot diggity dog. It's a mouthful. Hot diggity dog hot rod 283 that I'm going to build. And you know what? I got to get that block and heads over to Jimmy for machining. And once I pick up the other 283, I got to tear that down and go from there. But it's been a long day. Had a road trip, came home, organized some parts. Rebel sat here and hung out with me. He's kind of tired right now. He also helped me organize those parts, made sure I got them all put up and nice and neat and all that type of fun jazz. So with that, guys, these are some of the cool things we got coming up this fall. As we go through the videos, what I will do is I will show you like what we're doing with the engine, why we're doing that with the engine, where I got the parts from, and why I chose those parts. Both of these builds are somewhat budget oriented. The 283 I'm going to do the backyard build on is a definite do-it-yourself backyard budget rebuild. But the hot diggity dog hot rod 283, you know what, guys? I did spend some time finding a lot of good prices on parts through Holly. I found a lot of parts online through like eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and all that. It's all about doing your research, waiting, and finding those deals. With that, guys, me and Rebel are going to sit here and hang out, and we got a little bit of garage cleaning to do. So with that, guys, we're going to see you in the next one of Two Hacks Garage. So stay tuned for more of that hot diggity dog hot rod 283. Later.